What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Nick with Leverage Media, and today I wanted to shoot a video for you guys on how is it that I know that bad websites are costing chiropractors thousands of dollars every single month. So a lot of times when I talk about websites, I'll talk about conversion percentages. And the websites serve a couple of different purposes. First, you want a great website that really represents your brand, that gives people a sense of what the practice is all about before they come in. So people might be referred in, they might find you on Google, however they find your website, doesn't really matter. You want to have a really great presence that is unique to you and tells your story. Also, you want to make sure that the website or the web pages show up in search engine results. So like when somebody is looking for specific keywords, services, conditions, whatever, that your site shows up higher than your competitors, and hopefully you get clicked. But most importantly is, how are people converting, and at what rate are they converting once they land on the page? So this is where it's one thing to get a site or a web page ranked. It's a whole nother thing to actually get somebody to schedule an appointment, to become a patient, call the office, whatever you're trying to get them to do. Now, let's say that we've got 100 people a month that come to your local chiropractic website, which is probably, like a decent average for just like organic traffic to show up on most websites that have like a somewhat decent presence. Bigger cities might have more traffic, but that's 100 is a nice, easy round number. I would say that if you had 100 visits per month coming into your practice, that you could expect anywhere from 3 to 5% of those people to convert into an actual appointment, for calling the office, scheduling online, however it is that you're capturing those leads. And not like we're getting the email address for the newsletter, but actually like how are we getting people into the office? So let's call it 4%, just to like 3 to 5, I think is somewhat accurate. Let's call it 4%. Now, if you have a poor website, you're going to be, maybe on the lower end of that, or maybe even lower. If you have a great website though, like if I could snap my fingers and make everything exactly the way that I want it with all the input that I need from you, maybe we could bump that up to 7, 8, maybe even 10%, depending on what's going on the site. That difference, let's say between 4 and even just like 7%, if you've got 100 visitors that are coming to the website, just that 3% basically is 3 new patients. And let's say that you convert 2 of those into an actual care plan. Let's say you do care plans in your practice, or even if you do pay as you go, like whatever your average lifetime value of a patient is. I would say that most of the offices that we work with are somewhere around $1,500. So let's say it's $1,500. That 3%, those 3 new patients that 2 of them convert, equals out to $3,000 a month, every single month. Because if you're consistent with your traffic, the amount of people that are coming to the site, and you are consistent with the conversion rates, because again, all these people are just like random strangers, so your conversion rates should be pretty steady, because all the people that are landing on a local chiropractor's website should be kind of the same level of qualified. So that 3% that turns into 3 new patients, that turns into 2 care plans, $3,000 every single month, that equals out to about $36,000. So how is it that I know that offices with worse websites that are not set up for conversion, that do not have real online scheduling that connects with their EHR, that hasn't story branded their site, that hasn't put a lot of effort in, that has stock imagery? How is it that I know that those are doing worse than the ones that have nicer websites, or have been story branded, or working with companies that have done a good job? It's because we run a lot of Google ads for a lot of all of our clients, but so we have a lot of clients and we run Google ads for those people. The thing that like people will click on, the thing that gets Google ad clicks is like that it just shows up and it beats out the other offices to like be at the top of the page or be the thing that shows up in the map listing. So your website really has, I mean, it has a little bit to do with that in terms of like Google finding you more relevant than somebody else. So you may be getting cheaper clicks if they find you really relevant for a specific search topic. But let's say all things are equal and like your website really isn't playing into that much of like your click-through rate or your cost per click. It has a little bit of a difference, but just for this argument, let's say that we're getting all the same traffic to all these different sites. The next step, though, is where I know that the sites that are not built out as well as others are getting hurt because we set up conversion goals in the Google ad accounts, so I can see the cost per acquisition. I can see the conversion percentages for the things that we set up the goals for, and then they also have kind of like a more broad set of conversion goals that like Google Ads sets forward that are really more of like buying intentional type acts, I guess, on the website. And the sites that have a more well built out website with a better messaging, with better imagery, with better content, those sites tend to convert once the traffic is on there at a much higher rate. And so I know that, and I talk to the clients. When we start, there are some that we will refuse to do Google ads until they fix the website, whether it's with us or someone else, because I don't want to waste the money that I know is going to just get dumped into a bad website. And we can show you all the clicks that you want. Like we can show you that your click-through rate is great. We can show you that your cost per click is low. We can show you that we've gotten you, hundreds of new people coming to the website that maybe wouldn't have otherwise. But if I know that when those people get there, they're just going to bounce right back off, you're wasting the $6, the $7, the $8 a click. So I can see all the data and I put it all up against one another. And I usually have a pretty good idea of whose site, I think does a good job and whose doesn't. And you'd be surprised at how different the conversion rates are once they make it onto the page. So I've talked about this a lot lately, but if you're just kind of burying your head in the sand when it comes to your website, I just did a video for a doctor yesterday that I bet you that they haven't looked at that website in 5 years. I mean, because it looks like it was made 15 years ago, and it's from one of these big, cookie cutter websites or companies for chiropractors. And man, it was real bad. And they probably have one of the bigger offices in their town, and it's just such a bad representation of the brand. And I don't think that they would ever let their actual office represent the brand that poorly, but they're letting basically their online office do the same thing. So if you know that it's a problem, think about how much money it could potentially be costing you. And the thing that you can do is look at your traffic. If you go into Google Analytics, if you have Google Analytics set up, which everyone should, but if you have Google Analytics set up, you can go in and you can filter by where your traffic is coming from down to the region, right? So like my region is like the Central Illinois region. I can filter to where I go into the United States, I go into Illinois, and then I can go into that Central Illinois region. Because I only care about the traffic from that region. So if somebody is visiting my website, maybe they're a chiropractor that listens to this podcast, and they go, that traffic does not matter to me. Somebody from India does not matter. So look at the local traffic. And if you're at 100 visits a month and your site is bad and you know it, even if you're just costing yourself a few percentage points, you're costing yourself potentially dozens of new patients, not only new patients, but like starts, like people becoming, starting care in your practice, dozens of people per year, just on the traffic that you're already getting. Not even to say, like, if you improve the site and you do better SEO and you create better content, you could get more traffic. You run Google ads, you can get a lot of traffic. You do good SEO, you could get lots of traffic. I'm just talking about the traffic that you're already getting, no matter what your website, at this level, you're getting that kind of traffic. So that's the part that I think that people underestimate. I call it silent money that they're losing, because they just don't. Nobody calls you up and tells you they didn't choose you because your website was bad. And it's that money that just leaks right out the side door. So I really want you to, with a fresh set of eyes, go look at that site. And even if it's with a company, even like that does this with chiropractors, even if you've redone the site recently, look at it with a fresh set of eyes. And does this really represent who I am? And is it easy for them to convert? Is it clear what I'm wanting them to do? And if you can just move that conversion percentage, just 1, 2, 3%, it can make such a big difference over the course of a quarter, a year, a decade. So be sure that you're paying attention to that. Don't bury your head in the sand. It's just too important at this point. So hopefully that helps with some of you that are out there, maybe a little bit worried about you haven't updated that site in a while. And we'll see you on the next one.